Hi everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Rubber Stamp Tapestry, and for today's project we are going to focus on the Garden of Blue peg stamp set. This is a beautiful set. It has two different size florals, two greeneries, and also a butterfly that can add a little bit of an embellishment to your project. You can see, and it does come with 5 pegs. So let's get started. I pulled out some of my Altenew dye inks in Pure Graphite, Industrial Diamond, Silverstone, and Limestone. We're going to create a black and gray background. So simply by taking a stamped image, and when you're creating a background, you can very easily turn a background panel into a focal point. And that's simply by changing the color. By stamping these images in blacks and grays, while they're prominent, they're also pushed to the back just a little bit. You can see as I'm going between each of the colors, and I chose the peg stamps specifically with a specific color to have that bigger image, to have it come out more, and so forth. I'm using a baby wipe to clean my peg stamp after each color. I find that is the easiest way to clean those. Now you could use a chamois or a fiber cloth, whatever you choose. You can see as I'm stamping, I'm creating clusters, floral clusters, to create my background. I'm also making sure I'm stamping off the piece of cardstock as well. And that piece will also be trimmed down. I'm now going to use the colors, and I'm going to create a strip on this card panel. I'm going to be using Limeade, Lime, Baby Pink, and Fuchsia. So I'm going to focus on one area here because this is actually going to be a strip. I'm creating, again, a background panel, but it's going to be a strip that's actually going to sit on top of the black and the gray. For me, blacks and grays, I consider them neutrals. So they do a lot when you add different colors to them, whether that's yellow, red, oranges, or your greens, your purples, and your blues, your warm and your cool colors. It makes them stand out even more. Now, these are absolutely beautiful colors, and they do very well on their own to stand out on this panel. But you'll see what I'm talking about when we go to put our card together. Where in the black and the gray, I chose the larger image in the darkest. I chose the smaller floral for the brightest and darkest pink. So you can see how that difference is. I'm going to trim down these panels. Now these panels are originally 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to cut the black panel down to be 4 by 5 1/4. And this panel here, I'm cutting this down to be 5 1/4 as well. And I'm going to make this one just under 3 inches. I'm using my Gina K die set. It's called the Birthday Die and Shadow, and I already have that prepared. I used a white background with a black cardstock for the sentiment. I'm going to set my black and gray panel on top of a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 black piece of cardstock, and I've cut the other panel to be just 1/4 inch wider than what I made my colorized panel, and then I'm going to trim off that top part. I want that to be even so that it just sits right on top. So it looks like this is a cutout that's coming out towards you in a way, and I'm going to use my scissors to do that. I'm going to use some double-sided foam tape to prop this up, again, to make it look like it's actually coming up out of that back panel in a way. Just by using our foam dimension, whether it's tape, squares, or whatever we have, or even if it's cardstock, you're creating an illusion that that's coming out towards you. Or sometimes it can create it that you're going in. So it all depends on what that looks like. I'm going to take a little bit of my foam squares, cup them up, and just put them in one section of my sentiment so that that part can be even, because the majority of the sentiment is going to sit on the colorized panel. So I don't want to add any more dimension to that, but I want to make sure the sentiment is even going across. I'll add some glue onto the other side of that sentiment and get that secured down onto my panel. Now, this design here will be placed onto a standard A2 size card base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and this will be a top folding card base. I'm using my liquid adhesive. I do find that my liquid adhesive is the best and the most secure. Now you can see I also added some gems to this, and I reversed it. So again, I added black gems to the colorized, and I added white pearls to the black and the white. I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope I gave you some ideas with what's in your stash already, just to use your dye inks and your stamps just a little bit different to give a different effect. As always, all the products that I used will be linked down below in the video description. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave those down below as well. If you haven't yet, I'd love for you to subscribe. Make sure you hit the thumbs up and make sure you hit that notification button just to make sure you know when the next video is live. Continue to enjoy your day. Continue to stay safe. But most of all, for me, what's most important, always be creative. Till next time, guys, take care.